Hey, you guys, it's I, the Psy. I'm back with a banger for you. So we've got the new league rules that came out where there are no more leagues really anymore. And what there are now is just playing based on your rating within the leaderboard. So if you're 75th on the leaderboard, wow, I dropped pretty quickly there. If you're 75th on the leaderboard, you're going to earn less SPS in a win than if you're first on the leaderboard. And there are no longer any kind of penalties for playing lower leveled cards. And there's also no like caps on the cards that you can play. So if you're in bronze, but you have an 8-star summoner, or bronze, and you have an 8-star summoner, then you can play max level cards that are associated with that summoner. There's no like inhibiting you anymore like there used to be. So back in the day, it used to be something like if you were in silver, you could play maximum level 5 common, level 4 rare, level 3 epic, and level 2 legendary, right? It doesn't even have leagues anywhere for me to even click on since leagues no longer exist for me to kind of illustrate that. Oh, it does. All right, so it does still have leagues. I just wasn't scrolled down enough. So just to kind of illustrate it, here we go. Right, so, all right, it did take it away, so no, I can't illustrate it. But that's what it used to be back in the day. So in silver, you'd have 5, 4, 3, 2 as your level caps. Now that that no longer exists, it's kind of making me look at a different way as far as things like rentals go in one case, as well as what kind of cards that I want to have in my collection. So it used to be that when it came to rentals, you'd want to have, like I said, 5432, for example, right? Like, so take this Angelic Mandarin that I was renting out. It's a 25 BCX. And when we look at its abilities, we'll see that. All right, so this one isn't maybe the best example, but it's still a good one. You see that it has triage at level 4, but at level 5, it gains that second attack. So now it's going to come to the point, that second ranged attack. So here it's got one ranged at level 4, but it's got that second ranged attack, which is pretty invaluable at level 5. So it makes me think, well, what kind of cards do I want to rent out? Do I want to rent out the one that's a little bit better when it has the extra attack? Or do I want to rent out the one that just has like the ability? Or do I want to rent out one that might not have an ability at all? So if we were to go and we were to look at my collection, for instance, one of the things that I've always tried to do is balance my collection not necessarily on the league that I'm on, but on the value of the card and its abilities. So let's take a look at Nimbleduke Scout. All right. So we're looking at the stats on Nimbleduke Scout. We see that at 5-star, it actually gains Inspire, but it doesn't gain another ability necessarily till 10-star. So I've been kind of just sitting on in my collection a 5-star Nimbleduke Scout, because I wasn't sure if the value would be there, just increase its hit points, increase its speed. Obviously, these are good things, but did I need that to happen in order for me to really want to increase and invest in a Nimbleduke Scout? So I'm kind of sitting on just like an ability modifier right now as where I find its best value point is. And that can also be reflected all the way down when we look at things from Chaos Legion, for instance, like that. Like, let's take a look at Goblin Psychic, for instance, all right? So this is one of the best Chaos Legion cards, pretty much, like, invaluable, especially when you combine it with Immortalis and you're having, like a magic battle. So you might have been thinking, okay, previously, I was playing in gold, and the max level that my commons could be is a level 6, right? And when you look at the level 6 version, he's good, right? I mean, he's got tank heal and everything like that. He's got affliction. But once you hit level 7, he's got silence. So it's like, what do you really want to do at this point in time? Do you want to now continue to play with a level 6 Goblin Psychic, which is where you might have had it for gold? Totally respectable, totally respectable. Or at this point in time, is it something that you want to now bump up and play with the level 7 version for silence, which is obviously a way better ability? Like, it's part of the reason of why Goblin Psychic is so amazing, because he gets silence at level 7. So you can see that just by eliminating leagues, you've now taken away that mental cap that you used to put on the cards, so you can then in turn make the card more playable, right? So I would definitely want to play with a 7-star Goblin Psychic now. Even if the rest of my deck was gold, I'd want to like upgrade my summoner to play with a level 7 Goblin Psychic instead of continuing to play with a level 6, since the level 7's now available to me to play and it has silence. Now, there's a few other things that we can look at there as well, right? So there is, for instance, Tusk. Let's take a look at Tusk. Let's go back to Silver and let's take a look at Tusk, okay? So in Silver, you could play 5, 4, 3, 2, so you'd only be able to have a maximum level 3 Tusk the Wide. Level 3 Tusk the Wide is good. He is wide. He's got his 13 hit points. But why wouldn't you now want to play with a level 4 where he gets that Inspire? You know? So now we're kind of like breaking the level cap a little bit. And it's not so much about what is the maximum level I used to be able to play for these leagues. Or if I were to still go into a tournament, a silver tournament, which does still have these league caps, do I want to play and invest in this 4-star version of Tusk the Wide? Or do I just want to keep a 3-star? Knowing that in ranked play, where the rewards are just so juicy, I could be playing this 4-star and have access to Inspire. So you can see how it kind of breaks the mold out of previous league sets by looking at a card through its abilities that we'll have, instead of just looking at the card through the lens of what league is it playable in as a max level. Let's look at another one, okay? So we already did Angelic Mandarin. Let's take a look at, here's a really good one. Here's one that we face all the time, non-stop, especially now it's getting weapon trained, Merdali Guardian. When we take a look at its stats, 4-star. So this used to be the max in silver. Again, I'm using silver as kind of the baseline because I feel like silver is a good entry point for a lot of people. Used to be silver, 4-star, 25, it would heal. Hey, that's great. It steals and it heals. Like it's a good little guy. But why wouldn't you now want to play and get your Kelia up a little bit higher and break out of that silver mentality and go into having a 5-star Merdali Guardian where it just gets amazing, and it now also has repair, right? So it's now like, instead of having these cards and looking at them from the standpoint of, well, why would I ever level it up to a level 5? I only play in Silver League and I can't use a level 5 Merdali Guardian in Silver. Now you can look at it like, well, you know what? Sure, most of my cards are silver, but I rent up a little bit so I can advance higher in the leagues, get more SPS, and obviously having access to a level 5 instead of a level 4 is huge because now I have access to repair. So even from the standpoint of seeing the way that I've kind of like focused my rentals, I've tried to go up with that philosophy. So even though Antoid Platoon, if I look at it historically, I look at the 6 where it gains Scavenger, it's actually low, right? So you look at the value of a 6 and it's actually low because 6 is beyond 5 and 5 used to be the old silver level cap, right? So why would 6 actually be worth renting when the level cap for silver is 5? Well, now you can be mostly silver, but you can play Scavenger. So I've upgraded these cards, and instead of having them only 60 BCX to rent, I've now got 100 BCX Antoid Platoons out here to be rented. And I feel like what's going to start happening now is people aren't going to want the 5-star Antoids because they're no longer restricted to playing in silver. They're going to want the 6-star Antoid Platoons so that they can have Scavenger, which is obviously a fantastic ability on Antoid Platoon, right? I mean, that's part of the reason why you play Antoid Platoon. It's got the shield and it's got Scavenger, right? So the same thing can be looked at for things like Blinding Reflector, right? You go ahead and you take a look at Blinding Reflector and it actually gains Magic Reflect at 5. Okay, so Blinding Reflector, maybe not the best one to look at. All right, let's look at a different one instead. Let's go and look at my items. Here's one that I looked at previously. The Hill Giant. You take a look at the stats of the Hill Giant, and level 5 is, again, silver previous max. But at level 6, that's where things get juicy. That's where it gets stun, which is I think it's one of the best abilities in the game. So now, why would you want to rent a 5-star Hill Giant? Why would you want to play with and own a 5-star Hill Giant when for a little bit more, you could get yourself a Hill Giant with stun, right? And you can still be in Silver League, but now you can use this 6-star Hill Giant that's going to have stun, you know? The same thing can definitely apply to, while we're on the topic of the green guys, let's take a look at green. Earth especially has a lot of these guys, right? Like, let's look at Venari Sniper or Venari Scout. Ooh, Crypto Bogey's facing it. All right, let's take a look. Let's break things up for a quick second here. And we're going to take a look over at Brawl. Uh-oh, so Crypto Bogey's got he has the same idea as me for Brawl. Let me turn down the volume a little on this one. All right. I got the Magic Reflect, though. Do I heal? Look, see, there's that Merdali Guardian we were talking about. Oh my gosh, that volume is so loud. Come on, heal him! Heal him! Heal him! Good. There we go. So I'm banking it all on the double heal, basically, on this guy. And 8, 2, reflected. I don't know who's going to win this one. Oh, I don't think it's going to be me after that. That was like my whole strat. I think that his silence is going to do me in here. I don't know if I can break that silence. Magic reflect. If I can get a double heal. No, it's over. It's over for me. But I mean, I am still getting double healed. No, it's just too much damage. I was hoping that he'd be using more sneak. That's why I put 2 guys in the back for sneak. But no. I'm done, son. This helmet got the boost. It's over. Alright. Well, that was disappointing for you guys to watch, but it is what it is. There you go. Slight little interlude. Klypto Boogie gave me the beats. So there we go. So I'm what? 1, I'm 2. So I'm 4 and 2 right now. Okay, let's get back to a regularly scheduled program. You guys got to watch me get the beat down in my brawl. Alright, so I was talking about Venari Scout. Alright. So Venari Scout, same kind of deal. Let's mute that. At level 5, he does not have dodge. At level 6, he gets dodge. What would people probably like to rent more? If they weren't like renting 10 stars, obviously, right? They'd want to rent the level 6. So we can see how this carries on, and it carries on to the Knifer as well. Like, let's take a look at the Knifer. Knifer gets backfire at level 6, right? Something it doesn't have at the previous silver level 5 cap. So now it's worthwhile to get the level 6 Knifer, you know? Following that along with, let's see some guys that we could have here. Let's take a look at Uriel even, okay? Because I actually bought another Uriel just for this purpose here, okay? So Uriel. So same deal with Uriel, right? Why would you ever want to play with a 1-star Uriel ever again? I don't think that there's going to be anyone who ever rents a 1-star Uriel ever again when a 2-star Uriel has heal, which is one of its greatest assets, is the ability to have heal and get buffed, right? So let's go ahead here. I'm going to go to my cards right now, and I have these 3 Uriels. I am going to combine them. This is definitely making me combine cards, right? Because, I mean, like I said, I don't even feel like putting them on the market. There's going to be that big, like, a reduction in value if I were to sell it that way. And I'm going to send this one over to my rental account now. Silence 4 as a 2-star Uriel. Because, like I said, I just don't feel like anyone's going to rent a 1-star Uriel ever again, because you just won't win with it. Maybe those bots that are playing in Wild and that are just trying to win trade might do it. But I mean, it's the same concept as when I look at these guys here and I were to scroll down. Like, look at these Chaos Agents. No one wants to rent a 2-star 5 BCX Chaos Agent anymore, right? People don't want to rent. Look, this 1-star, well, I guess someone just finished renting this Chaos Dragon because it has Blast. Who's going to want to rent a 1-star Chaos Dragon anymore when I guess the Scattershot's nice. But Scattershot with Blast is even better. That's like totally meta because it gets around Grimbarden Smith, right? Gets around the Panda Smith combo. So that's why I'm saying I think that things are really going to start to change. Here's again a 6-star that I put up for rent because I guess at 5-star got Giant Killer. I don't actually know why I even have a 6-star period. I guess I'm going to have to level this guy and get another 200 BCX because I'm going to want to rent him out now as a 9-star. So for Inspire, I'm wondering why he was ever worth 27 as a 6-star. That's strange. That's an anomaly as far as I'm concerned. But you guys kind of get the point. Same with Cursed Wittigu, right? Here's another big one. I have some 4-stars here for rent, right? But 4-star doesn't get heal because previously that was the max for silver, right? So, I mean, you go ahead and you would never give him heal because the silver people would rent him. But now who's not going to rent the Cursed Wittigu without having heal? So I've actually got a strategy for this one, okay? So I need 15 plus 15 Cursed Wittigus. I've got in Peak Monsters right now, buy cards, show my active bids. So if I were to take a look at Chaos Legion here, and this is how I'm trying to do that, you'll see the cards that I'm actively trying to get a few more of so that I can go ahead and I can finish up putting those guys together. So I need 24 more Murdali Guardians, you can see. Why am I going for 24? Ooh, now I bought a few of them. I must have bought like 1 or 2 so far, or maybe only 1. So why am I trying to buy these Murdali Guardians? Why am I trying to buy X Murdali Guardians? Well, again, if I were to go ahead and I were to look at what I actually have here right now, and I were to look at the Murdali Guardians that I have for rent, where are you, Murdali Guardians? Let's do rare, and let's do water. And then that way it'll come up for me. Murdali Guardians. Those are Angelic Mandarins. Murdali Guardians? Are you guys common or something? It said no. I must have taken them off for rent. Let's go and let's take a look again here. This is messing me up, because why would I be trying to buy those guys? Murdali Guardian. All right, here we go. Oh, okay. So here's why I'm trying to buy those, right? Because I've got 31 extras. So I'm trying to buy them so I can get 2 copies of them at 40. Because then I'll go and I'll put these guys out, right? So that's why I'm trying to buy the Murdali Guardians. Maybe I've got some over here that are disabled and I haven't transferred back over yet. That's really strange because I feel like I'm missing some. No. All right. Okay. Weird. But that's my objective there, at least, is I'm buying more of those cards for me to be able to get them to that point. Let's take another look at another example here. So you can see that I'm trying to buy, how many? 30 more Goblin Psychic. So why am I trying to buy 30 Goblin Psychic? Common Earth, Goblin Psychic. So I've got a 400 here. That means it must be part of my rental strategy. Let's go and let's check out commons. 30 Goblin Psychics. Okay. Okay. So over here, 120. So here's what I'm trying to do. Look, I'm going to cancel renting out both of these guys, right? Because I've got a 60 and I've got a 60. 60 plus 60 is 120. Plus 30 is 150. So I'm trying to combine both of these guys with another 30 when they come through. So I can go and I can get another 7-star, because just like we talked about, 7-star has silence. And this is, it's already starting to happen. You can see that now it's up to 7.28, even though that's not reflected back here with the 60s. See where it's 6.35? But right here, they're being rented for 1.8 and it's 1.3. So you can see 11. So right now it's only 1.08 with a 3% year YOA. And over here, the 60s have a 9.3 YOA, year return on investment here. I feel like these are going to flip. And this one that's 3.8 is going to turn into one that's 11. And these guys that are 9 and 11 are going to turn into one that's 3.8. And I'm going to have to put less on the market. So I've got another 3 going on because 60 plus 60 is 120. Plus another 30 equals 150. And that's when it gets silence. And this is the kind of card that I think that people are going to try and buy in the future. So again, we're not looking at cards based on like league caps anymore. We're looking at cards based on what ability do they offer me, and will these abilities enable me to climb ranks at this point in time? And that's kind of the way that I'm thinking. Let's take a look here, what you guys are saying in the chat right now. And hey, how's it going, DeFizz? Nice to see you in here. So we don't have any like additional comments on that right now, but I feel like that's the way that I'm going to make my plays. Let's just take a look at one more example if I have one here as to what I'm trying to do. Bid. So I'm trying to get another time mage. I'm trying to get 7 more time mages. I'll probably update this all after we're done. Why am I trying to get 7 more time mage? Let's take a look at my items. This will be the last example that we give, but just to give you an idea, right? Okay, so here we go. So I am at 34. So I guess I don't need 7 more. I guess I probably only need 6 more, but that will get me to 40 BCX. See, I've already got a 25. Do I want a 25 though? I don't. I want to get a 40 because that's when you get rust. And I don't think people are going to want this 4-star anymore to rent or to own. I think the new card that people are going to want to rent and own is going to be a 5-star with 40 because that's when it gets rust. So again, I'm starting to think less away from league level caps, and I'm starting to think more towards having good abilities that are going to make people want to rent the card. So we'll see if that all works out in the future, or if I just kind of wasted some money and combined some cards that would give me a higher YROA and just kind of wasted it. But like I said, I've got a feeling that now it's kind of a wide open game. We're in the wild, wild west again, and no one is going to want to play with a 4-star time mage when, I mean, you can rent up a little bit higher, get a little higher on the leaderboard, rent the 5-star that's going to have rust. And even if you did, there's probably a lot of other, even if you did want to play with like a 4-star, there's probably going to be so many other people that are thinking like me that you can just rent the 5-star anyway, and it'll probably just be like, what, 0.1 DEC more expensive, and you can still play him as a max 4-star if you had to. So there's not really a downside aside from if I actually wanted to try and sell the card, or if like there's a significant rental discrepancy in price between the 4-star and the 5. But I just think that the utility of having, in this example, rust on a time mage is going to far outweigh just having the slow. Because, I mean, rust is awesome on time mage, silence is amazing on goblin psychic, that second attack is crazy on a Murdali, and having repair is obviously fantastic on the other Murdali, because we got double Murdalis, right? Let me find those guys here one last time. There we go. Yeah, so the Mandarin having his second attack is really good, and the Murdali Guardian having repair is really good. And we could go on with these examples for forever. We could lead them into Rebellion. We could lead them into everything. But I mean, like I was saying previously, it even affects the way that I'm looking at Rebellion and what I'm buying my cards up to. For instance, Pirate of 8 again. I don't need to bring him up to 8 because at 7, he's got that 4 attack with the blast already, right? And just to kind of go even further, take this away. Let's just look at Earth and my good buddy who I use all the time, and I'll put him, sometimes this is a great combination. You put Quar in the front, you put Lurking Puffer behind Quar, and then you put the Moxian Rebel behind Lurker, and then you end up with a Lurker that has 2 attack, 2 magic, and look at him go. Even only having him at 5 stars, the sweet spot, because that's regained silence, right? Which is obviously a nice throwback to me too. So there you go, guys. That's my little speech about optimizing cards based on abilities and not league requirements, because I feel like in the future, what's going to happen here is that abilities are going to far outweigh the old level caps unless you're actually playing in a tournament. But I got a feeling that you're going to want that juicy SPS when you're earning like 42 SPS for a win. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. Stay tuned for the next video. It's Eye to Sai signing off. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Am I looking at it the right way? Or am I just spending money on cards that we'll never see play? I mean, they are Chaos Legion after all. Peace!